Once again, we're going to touch on a subject that we have touched on before, and that is preservation, renovations, historical, non historical homes, barns, things like that. We have found out in this country that preserving and taking something that might be old and fixing it back up, keeping the historical perspective and using it again. It's been done now. If you take a look at in huge projects like Mass MoCA, it's been done like locally here in the town of Amenia, where they took the old town hall, instead of tearing it down, instead of letting it go to use, they've retrofitted it and they're using it other ways, and it's long been that way. I think in by private homes. But I think there's even more and more of a movement to do amazing things. It's not like it used to be, which was pretty much cookie cutter. And one of the people that we have here as an underwriter, Hudson Valley Preservation, we speak to them every once in a while about what's going on with exactly all that I'm talking about. Their main selling point: dream, design, and build. And with us right now is Mason Lord. Mason, nice to have you with us today.
Thank you, Marshall. Pleasure to be here.
You know, it's interesting. When I was a little kid, we moved up here when I was actually born, and moved into an old farmhouse, which at the time my parents put money into and expanded it, but also kept the old portion, which was extremely old. Basically, all the rooms were the same. They were just fixed up and such and updated, but it kept the same old dirt cellar, the same old in the cellar. There was a dig into the wall where you could store jars and store food and things like that. But the world of people buying and purchasing houses and buildings and converting them and keeping them historically accurate has really taken over, if you've seen any of these projects on TV. And I guess what I want to ask you first here, Mason, once again, is it's amazing, even since the last time I spoke to you, it's amazing what opportunities are available for people with firms like yours, Hudson Valley Preservation, to give them ideas to get what they want and still keep touch with the past.
Yes, and things are really changing a lot in the last 20 years, but even in the last 5 years, even the last year in both building science knowledge and materials that we can use in these buildings to improve the comfort and efficiency of them. Not every building would go that route, especially, antique museums, but people want comfort and they want to spend less money on their energy, and we're coming up with different ways to improve these older homes.
You know, it's interesting. It used to be people would do this in historic districts, but what I'm finding out now, my niece just purchased a house in Cornwall, and it's not an incredibly old house. I think it's like 65, 75 years old, but they want to keep everything on the outside historically accurate, and then step by step totally redo the inside of the house. And that's not even in a historic district. Do you find more and more people are just plain doing this when they purchase homes that are anywhere from 25 to 50, 60 years old?
Certainly people want to improve the interior, and that gives an opportunity to improve, what we call the shell of the building. People love to spend money on things like granite countertops. Yeah. They also really need to think about, how they can make it a better house, so that it will not only look good and feel good from an aesthetic point of view, but also from an energy perspective and comfort for the people living in it, and durability.
You know, it's interesting when I take a look at what you do and what you have done. First of all, if you're listening, folks, once again, we're speaking with Mason Lord from Hudson Valley Preservation, and they serve people not only in Northwest Connecticut, but also in nearby Eastern New York, Dutchess County. You can reach them on the web. They have a website there, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But you can also call them at 860-592-0500, 860-592-0500. Their web address is hvpcorp.com. That's hvpcorp.com. I think it's interesting what you do, and I think one of the differences from the last time I spoke to you to now, you're teaming up with Bensonwood Homes. What is a project like that where you're teaming up with Bensonwood Homes? What's the benefit of doing something like that?
So Bensonwood has been around since the 70s, and they were originally known as a timber frame company that built high-performance homes. They were really far ahead of the game in producing energy-efficient, beautiful homes in a timber frame manner. I think around 2006, they started a sister company called Unity Homes. And Unity Homes are factory-built. They have 4 different models. And the factory is very high-tech. A lot of the equipment comes from Germany. And they're building panelized, closed-panel homes that get erected on your site. They're not a modular home as in they come in 2 or 4 pieces. They come in multiple pieces. And they've created a very high-efficiency wall. And in those high-efficiency walls are very thick layers of blown-in cellulose. But also, they've disentangled the service layer from the very important exterior, your shell of the building, which means that if you make a change, you're not going into that very important area and, ripping it apart, and then you've got insulation that's getting pulled apart. So they look at the exterior, the shell of the building, the enclosure, as being a 200 to 500 year element of a building, whereas people are going to make changes every 10 to 50 years in a home. You're not messing with that 200 to 500 year piece. And working with them as a building partner, they're building the home in the factory. It comes to the site where we've prepared with a foundation and driveways and well and septic, and they erect the shell, and within a week or 2 weeks, you have an enclosed building, not being hit by the elements. There's no, oh my gosh, it rained on Sunday, I'd better get over there and sweep the deck off because we don't want to have water pooling on that. And when you're building a stick-built house, you have weeks of that type of thing happening, and it's always, oh my gosh, I hope it doesn't rain this week.
It's true. I know when my mother many years ago built her last home, it turned into almost a 6.5 month project, and it can become a nightmare. I guess that's one of the things that we can talk about now with Hudson Valley Preservation, is that if somebody comes to you and wants to do something, you do both renovation, remodeling. You also provide, and this is very important, architectural services. I mean, you can really handle a project from the very beginning and to the end, almost like not a general contractor, but very similar to that, where everything is controlled and is very easy and adaptable to understand.
Yes, and we really like working that way. In this world of moving further into the 21st century, we call it integrated design. And some architects are moving in that direction, where they will start with a general contractor right from the get-go and the client. So you've got a 3-legged stool, the client, the homeowner, and the designer working together right from the beginning, so that mechanical systems are getting designed right along with the aesthetics and the structure. So if we were to work with an architect, that's really the only way we would work with them. But when we're not working with an architect, then we bring in our own designers, and along the way, we're bringing in trade contractors. Engineering is necessary so that when we hit the ground and we're ready to dig, we're able to give a fixed price for whatever the project is, whether it's remodeling a bathroom, kitchen, or whole house remodel, or an addition, or even a new house.
We're speaking once again about Hudson Valley Preservation and the different things they offer. Once again, for people that are listening, what's the easiest way to get a hold of you at Hudson Valley Preservation, Mason?
That would be to call the office number, the 860-592-0500, and Dorothy, who is in the office and handles the initial phone calls from prospective clients. She likes to have a 20 to 30-minute conversation that she'll schedule where she goes over the ideas that people have, the problems they have with their homes, how they want to improve them. And then if the people that are calling feel like we're a good fit for them, then I would get invited out and meet with the prospective clients at their home. Today, with COVID, we can do that on a Zoom meeting, or we stay far apart and wear masks.
Well, once again, if people want to see more information on the web, it's hvpcorp.com, hvpcorp.com, Hudson Valley Preservation. Well, stay safe, Mason, over the next couple of months. Won't be long till we're into the springtime and sunshine and hopefully better things, but keep up the great work. And once again, if people have more questions or information, 860-592-0506. Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you very much, Marshall. I enjoyed speaking with you again.